let's talk about a couple of things that these millennials are putting in these prenups. For example, because obviously a lot of millennials are waiting to get married, so they're getting married in late 20s. The marriage rates are down overall for millennials based on what I've read, but the ones that are getting married a little bit later than prior generations, and they're having kids later. But for example, they put stuff about social media in a prenup. So basically, if the relationship ends, there's a contractual agreement to not trash each other on the social media. So it's interesting. I guess you can contract away your First Amendment rights, right?
You can. I mean, it's actually a pretty good clause. As we've seen, social media seems to be the mechanism that everybody wants to use, the weapon of choice. So.
It's definitely the mechanism of the millennial, that's for sure. Anything on social media, they're very, very savvy where that's concerned.
Hey, but I'm going to tell you on that social media front, really, like some of these accounts are worth banging bucks. Do you know what I'm saying? Like if somebody sat down and put down
influencers and whatnot,
they became an influencer and they're making $60,000 to $100,000 from that account just by freaking posting pictures of themselves holding something. I mean, those are things that you're definitely going to want to kind of contemplate, because who knows who you turn out to be as you get older. And even if you're already married, I guess the other piece of advice I would give, young couples contemplating marriage, or if you've just recently married and you're like, damn, I missed that window. Well, I mean, I had mentioned kind of briefly a partition agreement. Well, prenuptial agreements, partition agreements, or, marital agreements sometimes are called in different states. But it's just your ability to kind of contract away that problem as things go forward. You can do it before you get married, but you can also do it after. Now, the formalities of doing it after are a little more complicated, but they're, not much. And it's definitely something that if you want to do, you can still do. And I would encourage you to at least have those conversations, but they need to be open and honest conversations early.
Yeah, that social media brings up an interesting point. So, I don't know if you've been paying attention to much of the news lately, but you got Marilyn Manson and Evan Rachel Wood tying up the airwaves. I mean, I'm not sure how big of a fan you are of old Marilyn Manson, but he's a weird dude. And whether you believe
got a couple of
allegations,
he's got a couple of licks that I like, but yeah, he's definitely a little twisted.
Whether you believe, Evan Rachel Wood or not. That's another question. But the fact of the matter is, she came out on social media and came with this story about what went on in their relationship. And, it's caused, some other people have come out, and it's caused, I think, Manson's record label has dropped him and different things. So when you're talking about that social media piece, I guess if you blow up and then somebody has something to say about you that isn't flattering, and which may or may not be true. I'm not saying that it's not true, but what I am saying is that, you can get torpedoed on social media and that be the end of your career potentially. I mean, that's happened to a number of people, and whether the allegations are true or not,
Yeah, by the time the dust settles, the career is gone. For sure. I mean, he's already gotten
fame's
dropped
a fleeting
by his label.
thing.
Yeah, I mean, he got dropped by his label, his current label. I mean, obviously he hasn't done a whole lot of stuff too much currently, but I mean, he's still a pretty well-known name. And that's the thing about
big in the horror. I think he's big in the horror shows on AMC and all those different, or not AMC, but some of those networks up there on the cable channels. But not anymore. He's out of there too. So.
Yep. Yeah. No, I think, and when you're a persona non grata, it can obviously, like, if you turn it in a situation like that, people stop buying your music, and then all of a sudden the stream of income that's been pretty healthy for you is dried up. So those kinds of things are really, really going to be important. But along those social media outlets too that we were kind of talking about, I would tell you, like, one of the other things is photographs, right? So social media, I think, is kind of a big way that people share what's going on with your life, and pictures, photographs. Well, in this digital age, I will tell you that these accounts have thousands and thousands of images. Thousands and thousands of images. How many times have you and I had to subpoena people to get these records into court, right? We use them for a variety of different purposes, but as an individual, you think of, like, it's basically a record of my life. Some people have these accounts for decades. I mean, obviously, as far back as social media is coming up. And so when you think about all those photographs, the ownership of that particular account can really matter. Or do you want to be able to already have, predetermined terms that say, all the images that are on there of me, I get to keep? They belong to me.
Or you don't want people publishing your drunk bathroom selfie or whatever,
Exactly.
Publishing your your illicit photograph or whatever that you sent to him and meant for him only. That's obviously a big deal in the news today. And while a prenuptial agreement doesn't necessarily get you out of that situation, it provides another area of potential way you can get relief if something leaks or something's put out there to personally or professionally disparage you in the event of a divorce that you might be able to circle back around and make a tort claim on.
Yeah, so, for sure. Helps a predetermined outcome. Absolutely.
So, well, I hear in the celebrity news, I hear that Dr. Dre may have had a couple of Dr. Dre ladies involved during the marriage. At least that's the latest allegation. Speaking of prenups, Dr. Dre has what he feels like is a pretty ironclad prenup. His wife would feel otherwise, but apparently now she's got some allegations of extramarital activity and various things out there like that. So that should be an interesting case that we're paying attention to, which deals with the prenup. Oh, and that's a prenup worth potentially billions of dollars.
Yeah, we're definitely going to be talking about that for the next couple of months for sure. It's definitely something that I think is going to predominate the news, and really the litigation of it's pretty fascinating behind the scenes. So we'll definitely keep people updated as we get to know more.
Well, Sam, how's everything else going? Good?
Good, brother. Good. I mean, I'm just looking forward to this year, 2021. Hopefully it's going to be way better. Obviously, we just opened our new office in Fort Worth, in North Fort Worth. So, we can help people in the Keller and kind of Heritage Trace, Saginaw, and Lake Worth areas there. Still have, our office there in Fort Worth. We're looking at expanding into different markets. So maybe in the, Waco area, for sure. Round Rock, we've opened a location in Round Rock, Texas, just north of Austin. So, things are looking up for 2021.
Lots of things on the move, lots of exciting things coming down the pike. So if you want to get a hold of us, you can reach us at www.astxlegal.com. Our 800 number is 888-461-3964. My number is 281-374-4741. How do they get you, Sam?
Yep, you can hit me up at 817-914-5470.
All right. Well, thanks for the time today. We plan to hit some more topics. We won't always be hitting family law topics. We'll be hitting some other stuff as we go along this year. We plan to try to drop at least one podcast a week for our listeners that have been loyal. We really appreciate it. And drop us a line and tell us what you think. But we're planning to try to drop one at least once a week. So then we're going to provide different content. We're going to try to cover areas of law we find interesting or stuff that's coming up. Stuff that's coming up in our lives or stuff that's coming up in the world that we want to talk about. So thanks for the time, Sam. And I appreciate you, sir.
Now, take care, brother. See you soon.
All right. Thank you for listening, and we hope you enjoyed the Top Texas Lawyers podcast. If you would like a consultation with either Bryan or Sam, please call 1-888-981-7509 or visit us on the web at astxlegal.com. Once again, that's astxlegal.com. Thank you very much.